In today's video, you are going to learn quite literally how to start your day off on the right step. If you're new to this channel, I'm Tara. I'm a neurologic physical therapist, and on this channel we talk about anything and everything related to mobility, health, fitness, and mindset in the context of neurologic injury, with the end goal of empowering you with as many tools as possible to take ownership of your rehab and your health, to live an overall more active, more mobile, pain-free, happier, healthier life. And all that said, today we are going to quite literally learn everything you need to know in order to set yourself up for walking success for the entire rest of the day. And that comes down to a good morning stretching routine. Now, why do I think that this is so valuable? Well, for anyone who has a neurologic injury that has impacted your ability to walk or move like you did prior to having your neurologic injury, a lot of times I hear things like, in the mornings I feel stiff, my legs feel heavy, my legs feel like they're stuck to the ground, I can't lift my legs, or my legs are like locked up. Anything like that, those are usually the complaints that go along with someone feeling like they can't walk. So why do I think this is such a problem? Well, because it's kind of discouraging when you already feel like you have a mobility issue to have that thought that you just can't walk be the first thought you have in the morning. So that being said, a lot of the things that I just described can be resolved with a good stretching routine. So what are some of the issues that arise when you're tight in the morning? Well, you need to be able to rotate your trunk, because that's something naturally that we do when we walk. You really need to be able to extend your body, extend your hips. So for any of you who are a side sleeper, probably at night you stay kind of tucked up. So that first kind of vertical position where you really have to get your body straight can just feel awkward or uncomfortable, or worst case scenario, painful. Along those same lines, when we're tucked up at night, we're kind of bent over in this sort of a position, which is okay for sleeping because that for a lot of people is comfortable. But when you stand up, if you're bent over like that, it just makes it harder to pick your legs up. So being able to stand up with your chest up and your shoulders back can really help to set you up for success when you're walking. So something to be mindful of when we're going through the stretching, to kind of help you identify, well, what issues exactly are contributing to my discouragement with that first step in the morning, so that you can narrow the list down to what exercise that we go through today are going to be the most appropriate for you. Okay, so that's why I'm going through these scenarios just a little bit. And then so for others of you, your legs just are in spasm at night, so they stay locked out straight. So what we need to do is obviously kind of stretch those knees up towards flexion to kind of get them out of that locked up position. So if any of those things apply to you, those are going to be addressed in the stretching routine that we go through. Now, before we get into the exercises, as you guys have noticed, if you've been following for the last few weeks, I have provided handouts that go along with the video so that you don't have to keep coming back to the video if you want to add these exercises to your home exercise routine. So to get access to the handout that will have images with brief descriptions on how to do the exercises, click on the link in the description below, and that will be immediately delivered to your inbox. But now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the exercises. All right, so there's no better place to start than laying down in bed before you even take that first step out of bed. So we're going to start lying down on your back. Now, I know some of you aren't going to be able to get your knees up to your chest, but for those of you that can, you just want to hug your knees. And then you just do a little rock side to side. Bring your legs down, and now just rotate them side to side. There's no perfect form or anything on this. You're just trying to kind of get the body moving a little bit and get a little bit less stiff. We'll advance these once we get up. All right, then if you can, you're just going to roll over. Just kind of lay on your stomach and just stretch your arms up. A lot of us sleep a little bit bent at night, like a little bit flexed up. So this is just kind of getting everything on the front of your body stretched out. But again, if you can't roll over onto your stomach, don't worry about it, because we'll target some of these areas when we're sitting up. All right, and if you can, I'm just gonna do a little press up. All right, now we've gotten all limbered up. You're just gonna move right to a chair. We're not even gonna get to standing yet. I highly recommend that if you don't have a chair next to your bed, that you maybe try and find a way to get a chair next to your bed. I just think it's such a great idea to do some sitting stretches, especially for those of you that report that you do feel unstable or you do feel like you're gonna fall those first few steps getting out of bed. Just sitting in a chair and going through this stretching routine could be extremely valuable. And it could be less painful. Some of you also report that you have some pain when you first get out of bed. To just sit for a minute before you stand up and go through some of these stretches. So, chair next to your bed, you're just going to rotate. And just use your arms on the armrest to just kind of pull and deepen that stretch a little bit. Just kind of stretching that back out, getting it ready for being able to walk. We do rotate our trunk when we walk, so being able to kind of prepare for that. And hold it for 30 seconds to a minute. All right, and then just put your arms back on the armrest and just kind of stick your chest out. And again, just hold that for seconds to a minute. And then just do the opposite of that. Clasp those hands together and kind of round your back in the other direction. All right, now you're going to lay all the way down and just kind of stretch out that lower back. All right, now this stretch might be hard for some of you, but for those of you that have pretty good balance, you just want to reach one arm, the opposite arm to the opposite side of the leg, and then you're just going to stretch up. So let me show that to you from the front and just stretch up. And then same thing on the other side. Outside of the arm, you can almost press this arm into your leg a little bit to deepen that stretch. And stretch up. All right, and then to kind of get your inner thighs stretched out a little bit, just kind of split those legs apart and try and reach for the ground. And again, just hold it for 30 seconds to a minute. All right, now kind of just moving our way down the chain a little bit. We're going to kind of get more kind of to those deeper hip muscles. So you're just going to cross your leg over. If you can't, you'll get a pretty decent stretch by just crossing your legs and adding a little twist. But if you can, you want to kind of do what we call like a Taylor's stretch or like figure 4 stretch. Really stretching out some of those deeper muscles in your hips. And again, this is definitely an okay modification, and you'll still get a decent stretch out of that. All right, and then same thing on the other leg. Bring that leg up. You can kind of use your arm to press down just a little bit. Or try leaning forward a little bit just to kind of, again, deepen that stretch. All right. Now really get into those inner thighs. You're going to stretch your leg out to the side. Just kind of lean towards that leg. If you want to deepen it a little bit, you can kind of reach down towards that leg. Or you can just lean forward. All right, same thing on the other side. Stick that leg out to the side, reach down, or reach forward. All right, now to get the front of that thigh, which for a lot of you guys is super tight, you're going to bring your leg out to the side and just pivot. All right, so now you're in kind of a lunge position, but because it's early, and you don't really want to get into a full lunge, you can do this sitting down. Great way to stretch the front of that thigh. Now, there's two different ways that people really show the kind of like a thigh stretch in this position. Some people like really arch back, and that's okay. That'll definitely limber you up. But sometimes it's okay to not arch back. It just stretches the hip flexors, kind of a different group of the hip flexor muscles. So this is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you prefer that stretch and you feel like that's a good stretch for you, definitely go ahead and do that. But sometimes you don't have, if you keep this leg a little bit more pointing straight down and you don't arch, you're going to feel the difference. You're going to feel that stretch a little bit differently. Again, it stretches a few different muscles of the hip flexors. You might actually even feel it up into your back a little bit because that's where some of those hip flexor muscles attach. So I suggest maybe you do it in both positions, kind of not arching your back and really letting this knee bend, really feeling that quad stretch, and you'll feel the difference between the two methods. And then if you want, you can do this stretch and then just kind of open your chest up. And pivot and do the same thing on the other side. You can open that chest up a little bit and stretch a little bit of the different muscles by just kind of keeping the back what we call like probably more like neutral, not really arched. All right. Now we're going to stretch the hips in the opposite direction. So we rotated the hips out. Now we're going to rotate the hips kind of in. So we're really stretching this hip right here. For some of you that have had a stroke, these rotators, these external rotators, are really, really tight. So if you can, and if you're safe, you have pretty good balance, this would be a good stretch for you. But you do kind of have to get right on the edge of the chair. So just be careful and use your judgment. But again, we're trying to stretch the external rotators. So a lot of you, if your leg flops out to the side, you could also do this one laying down. Same thing, you're just going to cross your legs over. I've shown it in a lot of other videos. So if you've watched any of the other hip stretching videos that I've done, you've seen me show this one laying down. But again, you're just trying to stretch those those external rotators on this hip. All right, now we're ready to stand up. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, now you're going to get behind the chair, and again, you're just going to press that stomach out. So especially if you're someone that can't lay down on your stomach, I told you I'd show you some ones in standing. This would be an alternative for those of you that can't roll over onto your stomach. And again, you're just going to hold it 30 seconds to a minute. All right. Now we're going to keep working our way down the leg. Now we're going to stretch those ankles a little bit. So you're just going to do, I've shown this a lot. Some of you have a wedge right next to your bed because you tell me that you do. So that's great. If you have a wedge, really stretching those calf muscles out. For a lot of you, that's really tight. Actually, for most humans, our calf muscles are pretty tight when we wake up in the morning because the sheets keep our feet pointed all night. So unless you don't sleep with covers on or you kind of poke your feet out the bottom end of the bed, most of us, our calves are tight because our feet are just pointed all night. So we're just stretching those calf muscles out. First one you're going to do, you're going to keep your legs straight. And then to get some of the deeper muscles in the calf, you want to bend your knees. So you do want to do this with your legs straight and with your knee bent. And again, you're just going to hold that for 30 seconds to a minute on each side. All right, and then that is your full body morning stretching routine. We pretty much targeted all the muscles from let's say shoulders down. We really didn't do a lot of the arms. If you guys want another kind of general, I've done a lot of specific shoulder stretching, but if you want another like kind of general shoulder stretch morning routine, let me know and I can definitely add that video. But this is kind of like shoulders down, kind of all the muscles needed or all the movements needed to allow you to walk safely, confidently, and with less pain. Now don't forget, as has been the case in recent weeks, there will be a handout that goes along with this video. Link to get instant access to that handout is in the description below. Then you don't have to keep coming back to this video every single time. You can just keep that handout next to your bed and pull it out first thing in the morning and go through this little routine. If you're new to this channel and you like these kinds of videos and you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. It really helps this channel out and helps these videos to get out to more people. So if you haven't yet subscribed, I'd be so grateful if you subscribe to this channel. And if you want to get notified when we post new videos, turn on that notification bell. If you want to get exercises throughout the week, head on over to Instagram, where we post 1 to 2 videos every single week, just to help keep a little variety in your home exercise program. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can join our Gold Monthly Live program. That program is growing and we're adding more features almost every single month, and that is because of all of you and those of you that have joined that program. So it gets better every single month, and again, we add more features, but with your membership, you will get access to over 400 exercises where you can kind of build your own home exercise program, save it, and come back to it. And then anytime you want to change it up or you progress a little bit, you just come back, you create a new program, and it's saved for you so that you can come back and do that program at a later time. Also, you will get access to our Discord channel where you can ask questions throughout the week and interact with other members, as well as access to our monthly lives where you can submit questions in advance and I answer those live once a month. But we would love to see you there. It's a great program. It's a great community. So hopefully you guys will check that out. Link for that Gold Monthly membership is in the description below. I enjoyed spending time with y'all today, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.